Hi there. In this video, I want to tell you why I believe that the Push 3 might just be the perfect musical sketchpad, and I want to show you how I'm using it to stay creative while also being actually able to use my sketches later on and put them in real use in Ableton. One of Push 3's major selling points was the MPE capability of its new and improved pads. So when I first started using it, I was very focused on its internal synths and its MIDI capabilities. And although the pads and the MPE are pretty great, time has made me a bit wiser, and I've realized that the Push 3's true killer app might be something else entirely. So let me preface this with a bit of a hot take. I don't love MIDI. Yeah, don't get me wrong, it certainly has its place and it's a useful tool, and I probably use it in at least one track in every single song I've made in the last 6 years or so. But that doesn't mean I really enjoy it. For clarity, I'm talking about the recording of a live performance on a synth or a piano into MIDI versus that same performance recorded into audio. It's mostly that no matter the quantization settings or the resolution of the device that I'm using or whatever it is, it feels like as soon as the notes go down on the grid, it somehow always manages to just chop out a slice of the humanity or the feeling of the thing that I was recording. Feel free to comment down below if you think that I'm doing something wrong or how you think I could alleviate that situation. Also, there are just certain things, especially when I'm using my external effects pedals, like happy accidents from the tiniest knob twist now and then, that are difficult or damn near impossible to replicate if I'm playing things back on a MIDI track. Best example is my microcosm. Let's say I have it on an interrupt preset that randomly jumbles up my audio. If I get a uniquely sweet piece of ear candy here or there, unless I recorded it when it happened, it's probably gone forever. Other benefits that I love about recording audio over MIDI is that you can actually mess with it in ways that aren't really possible in MIDI, and with different outcomes when you start tweaking it around, like when you pitch a sample up or down. The little artifacts or unexpected results of the processing that occur can become a fundamental part of the sample itself, and that's something that just doesn't happen when you change the same thing on a MIDI note. So much so that sample chopping and mangling is an art form in and of itself. My ideal setup then would allow me to record multiple audio takes of the same track, and that let me pick and choose the best parts. Now, what kind of machine could possibly allow me to do something like that? Yeah, obviously the answer is a computer and a DAW. And if you do want the best quality audio, flexibility, and productivity, you absolutely should be using a DAW. But I'm not in this to be a professional music producer, and I suspect neither are you watching this. I bet we're both out here looking for inspiration and being creative. And with that in mind, productivity takes a back seat to the actual experience and enjoyment of the music making process in most of our cases. After all, isn't that why so many of us have chosen to make our music away from the computer screen where it doesn't feel so serious? Don't get me wrong, I still turn to Ableton when I want to grab one of my musical ideas and turn them into a cohesive piece of music. And that's where the biggest roadblock of my whole DAW-less process usually lies in. The part where I need to get all of those tracks organized and into my DAW in a way that doesn't drive me insane. Basically, we're talking about file management here. Yeah, sexy, right? Well, whether you're recording your audio into something as simple as the Zoom H6 or something as sophisticated as an SP44 Mk2 or an OP1, what you usually end up with are a bunch of files that you then have to export from your device, rename, upload to your DAW, and then assign to tracks and clips and so on. It can get pretty tedious, and lots of my ideas have gotten lost or died unfinished just because the process of transferring them to my DAW was such a turnoff. And that's where the Push 3/Ableton Live combo has really shined lately. And I'll tell you why, explaining my 3-step workflow from idea to complete a track. Just a reminder, this video is not sponsored by Ableton in any way, shape, or form, and my opinions here are strictly my own. This video does have a sponsor though, and that's the good folks at Sweetwater. Sweetwater is one of the world's biggest dealers in all things music production related and have a huge variety of synths, guitars, mics, pro audio gear, you name it. Sweetwater's got you covered with excellent customer support and international shipping. When you buy your next synth at Sweetwater using one of my affiliate links down below, you also support my channel, so you could say I'm running on gas. Huge thanks to Sweetwater for supporting me and other creators like me. Now, back to the video. Step 1. Standalone. The reason why I got the standalone version in the first place was because I wanted to have the most hassle-free method of going from I want to make music to actually sitting down and making music. And in that aspect, the Push 3 has really proven its worth tenfold. I just turned the thing on and it's ready for me to go, and what I love about it the most is that I can't check my email or my Instagram feed on it. So it's really easy to get into the zone, and more importantly, to stay in it. I also recently got the Arturia AudioFuse X8 in and out to expand my audio ports, so I pretty much have all my synths plugged in and ready to go, and this allows me also to route my effects pedals internally. So that's where the magic of the Push 3 really starts to come through, because not only do I have virtually unlimited MIDI tracks, but I also have virtually unlimited audio tracks, and even more importantly, I have virtually unlimited clips in those audio tracks as well. So let's say I already have a few drums going on and maybe a pad or a few chords, and I want to improvise a bass track on my Sub 37 with a few different lines. No problem. Or say I want to improvise some vocals with different lyrics. I can quite literally fill up columns with different takes, and that's exactly what I've been doing. Oh, and just as a side note, the new auto-tuner / vocoder on the latest beta update has got to be one of the coolest things ever. Just listen to this thing. It's more that you desire. Sometimes my thoughts can run away inside and through me. I wish you'd come inside into me. Try to catch the rain before it falls. Especially since I can rename or color code everything, and the new update allows me to reorganize tracks and move around scenes, I can keep my entire project extremely tidy for step number 2, which is seamless project transfer from Standalone to Ableton Live. As I said before, one of the biggest pains in my ADAT was using my DAW setup and trying to get all those tracks into Ableton. Well, here you just open up the project and that's pretty much it. That's the entire step. Now I know that might not sound so mind-blowing, but if you've ever tried to transfer a bunch of samples of a project from something like the SP404 into Ableton and then organize them and rename them, etc., then I think you'll agree this is a pretty huge time saver. And that's not even the best part, because now we move on to step number 3, which is comping. Ableton, like many other DAWs, has the ability to do track comping, and that means you can grab all your many multiple takes and pick and choose the best parts of each of those performances to make a Frankensteinish super track. You can do this with MIDI tracks as well, so it's not like you have to pick and choose. I know it all seems pretty simple if I say it like this, but believe me, I tried multiple ways of doing this, and this by far seems to be the most fluid way to transition from DAWless into DAW with the same project. And it really feels like I'm getting the best of both worlds. And for someone who, aside from synths, also likes to record electric guitar, bass, and vocals, this thing is really becoming all I've ever wanted in a musical sketchpad. I'm really eager to see what the future updates might bring, because so far, this thing is becoming an absolute powerhouse. Anyway, those are just my thoughts and my workflow, but how about you? Are you using Push or thinking about jumping in? What gear and workflow are you using to get from sketch to a finished project? Leave me a comment down below. I'd really love to know. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video useful, or at least entertaining. Have a great week. See you next time.